Oh, motherfucker, you can't have my cornbread. That's for damn sure. Because if you try to take my cornbread, part 2 of my killing spree gonna begin up in here on your ass right now. If you think about my cornbread, they get the taste out your mouth. That's for damn sure. Now, fuck him. Fuck that. Because I'm from New York City, goddammit. Nobody take no cornbread from me. That goes for you and any other you motherfucking farmers wanna try some shit. You fuck around with me, it's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
Yo, what's happening? Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Maestro Styles, Trey Frazier. We back. Little hiatus, but we back. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast. Follow Trey Frazier at Trey Frazier. Maestro Styles at Maestro Styles. Twitter at Barbershop SPOR2. Trey me at Maestro Styles on Twitter. Make sure you follow on the Facebook page and subscribe on the YouTube page. Trey, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's poppin', man? I'm so glad to be back on the air, man, doing this podcast, man. It's lovely. Life's good, even throughout all this coronavirus drama, man. Life is great, man. What's good?
Hey, man. Hey, I ain't gonna hold you. We got a lot to get into, man. Look, I don't really want to waste no time. So
we got some breaking news, right?
Yeah, we got some breaking news. I guess we need to just go ahead and break it. I titled the episode "The Jordan Doc," and I'm gonna leave it there because that's the most important thing that's happened this week. But
no doubt,
I don't think we're gonna waste no time, man. Do we even call this a trade? We don't call this a trade, right?
Yeah, because they still have his rights, right? We're talking about Rob Gronkowski.
Rob Gronkowski, a couple of hours ago, was traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Gronk and a 7th rounder went to Tampa Bay for a 4th rounder from New England receives a 4th rounder. So, look, the story came out, I want to say yesterday is the first time I saw the story that Gronkowski was still owed $10 million off of the Patriots contract. And, you know, to be honest with you, I didn't think nothing about it. Just like, oh, okay, so if he's, you know, they owe him that money. And they would owe him that money whether he decided to play this year or not, if I got that correct.
Yep. No, that's correct. I mean, whenever you have a player that retires in the middle of a contract, that team still owns your rights. So whatever decided to do, whether he was to say retired or whether he wanted to come back, which in this case he's doing that, then the Patriots have his rights and they could do whatever they want with the contract that he retired from. So that's why they're considering this a trade.
Right. So, okay, so we'll say that Rob Gronkowski was traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And first things first, man, what's your thoughts on it?
I tell you what, man, I was thinking about this from, you know, almost about 10 years ago when Brett Favre decided, you know, he was going to leave the game. He had the press conference where he was crying and, you know, sobbing tears and all this stuff. And the next thing you know, the Packers then, I don't remember if it was a trade or not, but he ends up with the Jets. And, you know, the dude's playing football. So I'm kind of looking at Gronk like, you know, I didn't see you answering questions about, you know, the love of the game, and I seen you on TV, you know, almost in tears because you said it wasn't fun to play football because of the violent nature of the sport. And so it seemed like you was happy with, you know, doing WrestleMania and, you know, all these other activities and, you know, working for Fox and, you know, doing all these other things. I can't say I'm surprised. I guess my question is why did you have to put on this front like, you know, like you seriously wasn't having fun? And maybe he wasn't having fun at the moment, but all signs point to that he was just done and that he wasn't coming back. Clearly, he's coming back because Tom Brady is in Tampa now. That's really, for me, the crux of it. I can't see it no other way. I mean, there's no, I found love for the game again. No, I just think his mans ended up in Tampa and was like, yo, like, you know, if that team, you know, needs some extra help, yo, let me get down there and help my mans out. That's kind of how I look at it.
So you think he is trying to help Tom Brady?
I think he wants to play because Brady's in Tampa.
Like Tom Brady, you think Tom Brady gave him that call?
I think Tom Brady gave him a shout out and was like, yo, I need some help. And not that, you know, this is no disrespect to Mike Evans or,
right, because he don't need help.
Right, the tight ends and, you know, all the other pieces that they got on offense. There's no disrespect, but it sounded to me like this was sort of a, hey, you know, Gronk, I'm in Tampa, like, what's good? You know, you feeling a little froggy, like, let's go make this happen. And for some reason, Gronk was like, all right, let me go holler at Kraft, work something out. Maybe it'll send me over to Tampa, and boom, here we are.
Where, for me, this goes back some years, and before I kind of get off of my theory, I'll ask you: when do you think Bill Belichick and Tom Brady stopped getting along?
Wow, I think I'm trying to think what year that was. And I'm trying so hard to remember the incident that happened, and I just can't remember what exactly it was. But I have to think that it was right after the Eagles Super Bowl, the loss to the Eagles. Something happened that offseason going into that season where, like, the two of them just got tired of each other.
All right, well, correct me if I'm wrong for clarity. That next regular season, isn't that the season where Jimmy G started 4 games or something like that?
For the Patriots?
Yeah.
No. Okay, so you're referring to the 4-game suspension that Brady had for the deflated balls.
Right.
So that season was, because that broke in 2014. So I think that had to be 2016. I'm thinking it was 2016.
So the year they went to the Super Bowl.
So the year they went to the Super Bowl, they fell 28-3 down to the Falcons, and they came back and they beat the Falcons. So it was that year, yes.
So I'm wondering, because then that's when the whole, Jimmy G, maybe he could be the heir apparent to Tom Brady, and when Jimmy eventually got traded, if I'm not mistaken, Bill Belichick didn't like the fact that he was traded.
Right, because Belichick wanted Jimmy to replace Tom.
Exactly. And Tom didn't want to be necessarily replaced. Yep,
that's right. So he went to Kraft and was like, yo, your man's just trying to get rid of me. Like, I'm not feeling that. So that's when Kraft told Belichick, like, look, you're not going to get rid of my boy. You're going to have to do what you got to do.
Wow.
If you got to go and tell Jimmy, look, I thought this was going to be a team, but we got to ship you off someplace, and that's what happened. So, I believe it was that year. I believe it was 2016.
Yeah.
Because the suspension that Brady had, the 4 games, I believe was that 2016 regular season, and then I believe that following year was when Garoppolo started games for San Francisco in 2017.
Okay, so here's my thing. not only does Tom Brady not like Bill Belichick, I don't think Robert Gronkowski like Bill Belichick, and I don't think Belichick like Gronkowski. I don't think they like each other. I think this is starting to unfold as the players who are starting to just come out and be like, and he hasn't come out and said it, but they're coming out and being like, "Yo, I don't like Belichick," and I think this isn't the first time that players have kind of bucked against Bill Belichick, but when it's happened, normally you see him getting rid of him pretty quickly for low draft picks, or I wouldn't say low in this case, but certainly you could get more value for Robert Gronkowski on the, for the open market if you say, "Hey, look, I'm playing. I want to play football."
Right.
And so my thing is why get rid of Rob Gronkowski if you know he want to play football? The thing is that you don't, unless y'all got issues. Because you're not going to tell me that you couldn't get more for Gronkowski than a 4th rounder.
And let's be clear, the Patriots aren't going to come out and say this, but they got issues.
Yeah.
They can try to hide it all they want. They got issues. We don't know a damn thing about Jarrett Stidham right now. Well,
and see, for me, I'm sitting here thinking about it, like as we talking, literally, man. I'm sitting here wondering. You know, we talked about Bill O'Brien, and we'll get into Bill O'Brien, a little later on in the show. But we're talking about Bill O'Brien and how he's running the show in Houston, and even to a lesser extent, we talk about Matt Patricia and how he's handled things in Detroit. And, you know, at least with the Darius Slay situation, and we started to gather that disciples of Bill Belichick have a way of running their program that a lot of more often than not, you're getting more instances of players speaking out against these coaches because of how they're running their teams. And it just seems funny that all of a sudden now we can come to this, and Gronk is being traded for a 4th rounder. And it's like for me, and I'll get to the point. What is Bill Belichick doing in these locker rooms? Because winning a dynasty, we're talking about a 20-year dynasty in the New England Patriots, and Tom Brady didn't want to retire there.
Yep.
Rob Gronkowski retired there, but the second his man's left, he want to play football all of a sudden because he see an opportunity for him to get to Tampa.
Right.
Like, why is this happening all of a sudden? Like, for me, I don't know. I can't wait till the football life, the real football life, for Bill Belichick come out, because I know one's come out already.
Yep.
I can't wait for the real documentary where we talk about Bill Belichick's problem, because
it's funny, right? It's funny, right? Because we're watching. It's funny because, you know, we got the Jordan Bulls, 97-98 documentary, and now we're talking about one of the greatest dynasties in football history, and we're talking about a potential fallout of how this dynasty is ending. It's sort of similar to how that Bulls dynasty ended. Yeah. So now let's shift over to the Patriots side of things. Niggas don't like playing for Belichick, despite the rings, despite the championships.
Yeah,
it comes down to just that. And to your point about Bill O'Brien, on how he's just trying to be the man and trying to run certain things, and I'll make the comparison to Jerry Krause, which we'll talk about that in a minute. These general managers want to make it all about them. They want to be the guys that get the credit. And, I understand, you guys pick the players, y'all buy the groceries and all that stuff. I get all that. But at the end of the day, the players play, the coaches coach, the general managers manage the roster. And, folks might not, or people might not be as popular of a name to get the recognition. And I think that's what some of these coaches / general managers are aiming for, is that they want the credit, because the players, and rightfully so, they take all the limelight.
Yeah.
From the reasons why they win, the reasons why they are that dynasty.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you, man. The New England Patriots have dropped the ball, and I think it all has to do at this point. You have to realize that this is Bill Belichick. This is possibly, let me say that, this is possibly Bill Belichick's doing. This is Bill Belichick's doing for years of mishandling talent. And look, I don't necessarily remember what happened with Chad Johnson or Chad Ochocinco by the time. Yep. But I know that was a premier wide receiver that couldn't get it together. Right. I think about Malcolm Butler being benched for the Super Bowl.
That's it. Yeah. That's what I was when I brought up the Eagles loss to the Super Bowl. I was trying to think of the incident that could have potentially made Brady and Belichick kind of not see eye to eye. That's what it was.
Yeah,
it was him benching Malcolm Butler for that Super Bowl.
So it's these types of things.
And no explanation for it whatsoever.
Yeah, so it's these types of things that make me feel like, okay, Belichick just out here wilding, and it's like it's at the point where you got to respect it because he's been the catalyst for so much winning, but he single-handedly, it seems like he's single-handedly Jerry Krause in this franchise right now.
It's a definite. It seems like all the great dynasties come at a price.
Yeah, I mean, and it's got to end someday. So I mean, I'm not gonna say it. It's got to end at someday. And I guess it ain't no guess. We here.
Oh no, yeah. This is the situation.
Yeah.
I guarantee you. 15 years from now, when the Lakers dynasty documentary comes out, because we all know how that ended, and I'm talking about the first dynasty, the first three-peat.
Yeah.
Really the only three-peat with Shaq and Kobe, and everybody kind of knows how that ended. We want to see more in detail and more footage on how that particular dynasty ended. All great dynasties, they come to an end.
They come to an end, but for it to come to an end like this, I just can't help but I guess be disgusted. Like, I don't know if I'm like maybe overreacting, but it's like, bruh, you gotta know that you can't. The quarterback, the guy that's been your quarterback for 20 years, there is no reason why he should be playing for Tampa Bay right now.
Yeah,
I mean, when it really comes down to it. There is no reason why he should be in Tampa right now. There's no reason why he should have known. And it's funny because Tom Brady said he knew in advance that he was going to eventually end up leaving New England to play for another team. Why does a quarterback? Why does your 20-year quarterback feel like he could feel that way? What have y'all done to make him feel that way?
I don't know. Maybe, and you know what? Tom Brady is sort of defying logic at this point, right? He's 42 years old, going to be 43. Mm-hmm. So Brady's sort of defying logic in a sense that if you're like Brett Favre when he was 41, had one of the best regular seasons statistically, and then he just, fell off right after that. And then, Peyton Manning at 40, was doing his thing, and then the following year, a precipitous drop off. And maybe the Patriots, as a front office, thought, this guy ain't serious. Like, at 42, 43 years old, this guy's not serious. And so maybe the Patriots took Tom Brady for granted and thought, okay, this guy's not going anywhere. This guy's going to retire a Patriot. He's the greatest player in the franchise's history, arguably the greatest quarterback in NFL history. This guy's not going anywhere. So I think the team took him for granted, and then by the time he said, I'm not coming back, and he ends up in Tampa, the Patriots are now picking their lip up off the ground like, yo, like, this dude's serious.
Yeah, but for me, Trey, this is the difference between Kobe and Joe Montana. You get what I'm saying? Like, and it's not to say that Joe Montana wasn't good in Kansas City, but when you got a guy that's been there and it's been a staple of your franchise for ever, I mean, 20 years, like a Kobe, you let that man's supposed to retire with you.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? That's your legacy.
Absolutely.
You are a New England. Tom Brady is a New England Patriot. He shouldn't. I'm glad he finally got his big payoff and all that. But he shouldn't be retiring a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He shouldn't have to wait 5 years to get signed to a one-day contract with the Patriots just so he could retire a Patriot. Like this, this is the type of things that, pay respect to the dude that has been responsible for taking snaps in your dynasty that y'all created. But respect that dude.
Right.
Respect that dude.
And not to compare these guys to Brady in a sense that, they got the multiple championships, but even Peyton Manning left Indianapolis and went to Denver, and most people thought that dude should have retired a Colt. You go back to Brett Favre. We talked about Brett Favre. Most people should have believed he should have retired a Packer, and he ends up playing for the enemy, a couple seasons later. You go back in history, we talk about Montana going to Kansas City. I think Unitas played for the Chargers, I think, if I'm correct there. There's been many of these Hall of Fame quarterbacks that have been with their initial teams for, 12, 15 years, some even longer, and then somehow they end up on another team for a year or two, and it ends pretty badly.
In the case of
it shouldn't be, but
it shouldn't be the case, and that's my argument.
And I agree with you. It shouldn't be that way, but unfortunately, history is telling us that it's going the other way. These franchises aren't keeping their quarterbacks with their same team that they've been drafted from.
That's a problem, man. That's a problem. I want to say what's up to Professor X Kesey. We see you, Deacon Dale, and Mocha Bella, Vince Wright, the governor. I said, appreciate y'all. Kesey also mentions Warren Moon. It just
a good example.
Yeah. So while we still in the conversation of dynasties and how dynasties are ending, Draymond Green was on some uninterrupted platform or something, talking about KD's the last year with KD, basically saying that KD should have said what it was so he wouldn't have to answer questions about what KD's going to do at the end of the year. Was basically saying that KD was a distraction from the team getting that chip all year. He also spoke about Steve Kerr saying, guys, we don't know when the next time this is going to happen, so let's try to enjoy this, as they were trying to three-peat or whatever. And he just wanted KD. He's basically said KD's silence was creating more questions for people like Draymond Green and Klay Thompson. Your thoughts?
Right. No disrespect to the Toronto Raptors, and they won the chip fair and square. Let's be real. Without Kevin Durant's Achilles, if that doesn't happen, the Golden State Warriors are three-peating. That's facts right there. So to say that Kevin Durant was a distraction, and he probably was. Draymond did get the 1 game suspension for the, I guess it was conduct detrimental to the team or whatnot. But as far as
that wasn't the Clippers year though. That was the Cavs shit.
What's that?
You talking about Draymond Green got suspended for a game in the Clippers series? I mean, the Raptors series, I'm sorry?
No. This was a regular season. So
okay.
So if you remember, there was like a sideline dust up between Draymond and KD.
Right, okay.
And the next day, they came out and said that Draymond was going to be suspended for 1 game for conduct.
Right.
So and that's exactly what kind of set this narrative off.
Exactly.
As far as KD's being the elephant in the room, Draymond's got some words about it, and this is going to be a distraction all the way through. And I guess my point is this. I mean, that the team, regardless of distractions or if they were just bored throughout the regular season, they were gonna three-peat. they were gonna three-peat with a healthy Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
And even if you go back to that Clippers series, the one where I think they blew a game 5, I think it was at home. The Clippers came back and won game 5 or something like that. I mean, that series should have been a sweep.
Yeah.
In my opinion, but I think went 4-2, something like that. And then, they swept the next 2 rounds, and then, Durant gets hurt, I think, in the second round, and at that point, you're just kind of like, damn. Like, without KD, they still got a shot, but without him hurt, without that, if he doesn't hurt himself, they're three-peating. I mean, point blank and period. So Draymond could come out and say, "Oh, he's a distraction, and he's the reason why he's no longer there anymore." And this is, and we talk about the death of a dynasty, and this one kind of went a little differently than the Patriots and the Bulls dynasties, but I wouldn't necessarily say that Kevin Durant is like the drama that happened from that one regular season game.
Was all on Draymond Green.
It was all on Draymond Green.
Would it have made it easier for Draymond Green and the likes of Klay Thompson, who hasn't said that he had a problem with any of this, by the way? Would it have been easier for him to just say, I'm going to stay or I'm not going to stay? Yeah, sure, it would have been easier, but it's not their job to say that. It's not his job to say that. In fact, it's his job to keep people in suspense, while they doing what they do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's their job. It's KD's job to keep the NBA in suspense. The media wants him to keep it in suspense. So guess what, Draymond? You got to keep answering the question. If you don't like it, you should be the best player on the team. Then that's just the way it goes. When you're the best player on the team, Steph has that same. I guess he has that same responsibility. I mean, that same not responsibility. He has that same perk. He ain't gotta say nothing. He could sit there and let teams salivate about, do they get a chance to sign to him? The media salivating about where he might go. That's their job. That's what they get. That's their job. So guess what, Draymond? You gotta, and that's the problem. He eventually got tired of answering questions. So when he got an opportunity to say something negative to KD, he did.
Or in this case, they've been asking Draymond all these questions about what happened, and he just can't help himself but to, throw some dirt on Kevin Durant. And, in the case of that uninterrupted interview that he did, he threw some dirt on, how he felt about, how Jordan felt about Pippen, kind of doing what was best for Pippen at that time. Yeah. So Draymond got a lot to say.
I'm going to throw some dirt on Jordan, too.
Oh, I am too. Yeah. No question about it. No question about it, man.
Yeah, for sure.
But that was all Draymond, right?
Yeah, that was all Draymond. Facts. I want to say what's up to Big K 303. Kesey says, "Where the baby at?"
Deacon Dell in the chat room too, but that was
we know
that was Nate. Nate just came in the room and was like, "Yo, what's that? Like, what you doing?" And I'm trying to shoo him up out of here. But
yeah. You got a couple more years. My kid's in the back room quiet.
And what's crazy? What's crazy about that? Nate could stay quiet to himself for a good 2 hours.
Yeah, until you think he's doing something.
But Natalie, you gotta watch her like 24/7 because she can't keep herself still for nothing, man. So shout out to Nate, man, for making an entrance.
Yes, sir. So the Jordan doc. I keep it a buck. I missed episode 1, and when I tried to watch it on my phone this morning, it wasn't going in my way. So I saw episode 2. So your takeaways from the Jordan doc?
Well, I'm gonna start with Jerry Krause, and I watched both episodes 1 and 2. When I know episode 2 was strictly more focused on Scottie Pippen than Episode 1 was more strictly focused on the beginning of how that 97-98 season started. And everybody knew that Bulls management, the owner, Jerry Krause, the general manager, and Phil Jackson came together and was like, look, this is it. This is going to be the final year. We don't care if you go 82-0, and if you guys, go undefeated through the playoffs to a championship. This is Phil Jackson's final season. And to look at Jordan's reaction to that, to say, look, I'm tied at the hip to Phil Jackson, so wherever Phil goes, that's where I'm going to go. And it kind of, I talked about it earlier when we were discussing the Gronk trade. And, with these general managers and, as a kid watching these things, we're talking 97, 98, so I was 14, 15 years old. Mm-hmm. And so I was very oblivious to how... Yeah, we really didn't know what was, popping at the time. But, when you kind of look back in retrospect and given the information that we know now about how front offices operate and how, players, go about their business, Jerry Krause reminds me of Jerry Jones. And I believe I tweeted about that, the night I was watching the episode. He reminds me of a Jerry Jones, and I think the situations are so comparable when you talk about how Jerry Jones ran Jimmy Johnson out of town after they won, that first championship with the Cowboys, and then Barry Switzer comes on and then he wins the chip with them.
Yeah.
This Bulls situation, it's sort of the same thing. Jerry Krause felt some kind of way about not getting enough credit for, those championships. And it goes back to what I said earlier. Players play, coaches coach, general managers manage, they construct the roster. They do get insight from coaches and things like that. But it started to, it seems to me, looking back, that was the time when it seems like general managers, and it doesn't matter what sport it is, but it seems like general managers are starting to, play NBA 2K in a sense. Like, I'm gonna construct these players. I'm gonna build the team myself. I'm the one that's gonna determine if this team's gonna have the chemistry or not to, win titles. And he did, and granted, he put players in positions so that the Bulls could win these titles. The rosters were definitely constructed in a way that, Jordan was able to work with what he had. Pippen was the second best player on the team, and Rodman was doing his thing defensively, and, the whole pieces and stuff. So, yeah, Jerry Krause, gets, some credit for that, but to the best player in the world at that time, and arguably was still good enough to play. I mean, we saw that he went to the Wizards. Yeah. He was good enough to play.
Now, he wasn't the best, but he could still run.
He could still run. The fact that you decided you weren't going to, deal with Scottie Pippen no more, that you were going to, break this team up the way you broke the team up. You come out and talk about, hey, this is, I'm the general manager. I make the decisions. I got to do what's best for the roster. And after they broke that team up, they went 6 consecutive seasons without a playoff appearance. That just show. I mean, if that wasn't a death of a dynasty, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
So to me, that kind of stood out. Jerry Krause, and I hate the fact that because he's no longer alive. From what I heard, and I think I learned that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I learned that, watching the episode.
Well, certainly let me say rest in peace, because
No, absolutely. Rest in peace to Jerry Krause. And he's been a punching bag pretty much during that first episode on Twitter. But the dude is not here to defend himself.
Yeah.
and that's the situation that I don't like every time these documentaries come out, because once these things come out and people react to it, and the person's not there to say, hey, well,
this is my side.
Right, this is my side of the story. So that's what I kind of hate about it. But nonetheless, man, the Bulls were some cheap asses back then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they gave Jordan his money. I think there was like 1-year deals of like $33 million or something.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How the hell is Scottie Pippen at one point? I think it was that same year. It was that same season.
Same year.
The 7th highest paid player on the team and was the second best player on the court.
Yeah.
For the Bulls.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
If there's one mistake that you could highlight of Jerry Krause,
it's the mistake. In my opinion, it's the mistake. Look, Scottie Pippen was sat down by Krause and the other guy, I forget the other guy's name, and offered a 7-year, $18 million contract. And they told him that this is not a good contract, yet they offered it to him still. And let me be very clear. He took it, and and you kind of got to pay you got to pay some penance for that. But when you're along the tail end of the contract, and not only he didn't raise any problems, any issues while serving that contract until we got it on the end. And he has, the second best player. Like, the point guard is getting paid more money than him, but Scottie Pippen got more assists than him. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's playing the best defense on that team, at least on the wing, and players like Tony Kukoc is getting paid more than him. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. He had every right to ask for a renegotiation, and they should have honored it. Period. They should have honored it. There's a big gap between $33 million that Jordan got paid and like this. I think the $6 or $7 million the second highest player got paid. So even if you met it in the middle and gave Pippen $16 million, like that's. Like, come on, that's just common courtesy. That's just common courtesy. Right. He was ranked 122 in highest paid players at that time, and he's a top 50 player in the NBA of all time. At least that's what they call him. Right. That's crazy. And
I think what people forget, after the Bulls broke up that year, Scottie was still good. Yeah, and it just came to mind after watching the first episode. Wow, I forgot he went to the Rockets for I think a year or two or something like that before he went to Portland in 2000, and that team almost got to the finals out west. Yeah, it was one game away from that. He was still good in 2000.
Yeah, man. The way they treated Pippen was a slap in the face. A terrible slap in the face. Almost as bad as Charles Oakley slap in the face.
Yo, I think Charles Oakley was just sunning everybody.
Oakley slapped the holy hell out of him, man.
And Pippen had no choice but to take it. But this is
like that's not one of them slaps like, go ahead, stop playing. That was a slap. Like he slapped.
Yeah. That was a slap. That was a slap. Yeah, Oakley was a bully, man, back in the day.
Oakley was a bully. I always rocked with Charles Oakley, but like Charles Oakley definitely. That's seeing him slap Pippen like that and Pippen just taking it. That's crazy. That's crazy. I want to say what's up to Tiffany Quarantined in Hills.
What up,
Another
Tiff?
Sports in Hills. I know that's who that is, right?
Yep.
So. Jordan Smoke. Your Jordan Smoke, or your Jordan Smoke. I got my Jordan Smoke. I think we probably think the same thing.
We think the same thing. I'll go ahead and phrase it this way. I understand why Jordan said what he said, because let's be honest. If we're talking about the team aspect, Scottie Pippen definitely looked out for himself more than he looked for the team. So he was right about that. The problem that I have with Jordan is that, the man was, trying to look out for his best interest, not just from a physical standpoint, because, he hurt his foot, I think it was. But he was looking out for his financial interest. 7 years, $18 million? Like, that's corn chips. Compared to today, obviously, but even then.
That's corn chips then.
Right, yeah.
That's not even corn. That's like.
Yeah, it's unreal how Scottie Pippen was just so undervalued, and the fact that Jordan came out and was like, you're not being fair right now. Like, this is, we need you. And the fact that I love the fact that they highlighted whatever, losing streak or whatever, games
they went on while he was out. They
lost over a certain period while he was out and everything like that. And, I like the fact that they highlighted that, because to me, it showed how much they really needed Scottie Pippen. And it should have showed the front office how they really undervalued what Scottie Pippen was to that team.
But they knew they undervalued Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen is probably single-handedly the reason why NBA players bitch about their contracts. Like, you know what I'm saying? When 2 years out of a 4 year, that third year, they talking about, all right, let's re-up. Scottie Pippen he might be the catalyst, the pioneer of why players now want their money quick, fast, in a hurry, and as early as possible. You know what I'm saying? Because
ASAP.
This is the epitome of I'm overcharging niggas for what they did to the Cold Crush. This is just, you can't do it. You can't do your second best player like that. Jordan is wrong, and like I said, I knew we was going to agree, and I don't want to see it from his point of view or none of that. It's easy to say he being selfish while you making $33 million.
Mm-hmm. Oh, exactly.
It's easy to say, ooh, team this and team that when you making $33 million in 1 year. Nah. What you should have did is went in there and seen if you could have pulled some strings for your mans, because you said it yourself. You wouldn't have won none of them rings if it wasn't for Scottie Pippen.
Mm-hmm. So now, and I'm not going to defend Jordan in this regard.
I'm not either.
I've heard in the past and early on in Jordan's career, I've heard how during some Jordan was grossly underpaid right before he started making those 1 year $30-something million deals. So for me to say that, more so, Jordan should understand what Scottie Pippen was trying to do.
Exactly.
Because once upon a time, that was Jordan once upon a time. You know what I'm saying?
So the
fact that he came out and said that, I'm like, Jordan.
And it's not, and what's even crazier is that not only did he say it, but he said it in retrospect. So that means he's been in the league for 20 years.
That way.
Yeah, he still feels that he was being selfish. Why you said he got 25 the year before, if I'm not mistaken, then 33 his last year, and Scottie Pippen making 2.8. But you ain't never going, like, imagine Scottie Pippen, the second best player on the team, watching you re-up every single year. Why he been sitting there in the dumps for 7 years making 2.8 mil, but he being selfish.
Man, that's grimy.
I mean, grimy. Keep it a buck. If Scottie Pippen would have been cool if Jordan would have took $10 million off his 33 and gave him 12.8.
Mm-hmm.
Like at least give him a respectable salary. When not even the market of the second best, and not even just the second best player on the team, but still in his prime, he was arguably one of the better players in the league, Scottie Pippen. So that just didn't make sense to me. That just didn't make sense to me, man. Kia, what's going on? Anybody else in chat room? Not necessarily. Trey, you still there? I don't see you. Trey. Okay, look like he having some internet issues. Trey. All right, we're gonna see if he get that back together. All right, hold on. Let me get him back on the line. Give me a second.
Sure. Because if you try to take my cornbread, part 2 of my killing spree gonna begin up in here on your ass right now. If you think about my cornbread, get the taste out your mouth. That's for damn sure. Now fuck him, fuck that, cause I'm from New York City, goddammit. Nobody take no cornbread from me. That goes for you and any other you motherfucking farmers wanna try some shit. You fuck around with me, it's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
Haters gonna hate, and ain'ters gonna ain't.
All right, hold on. So Trey, we're gonna keep it moving until we figure out what's going on with Trey. So while he is out, let me take this moment to there you go right there. Speaking of that, hold on, y'all.
Yo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I had to take a quick break, and you didn't get back on by the time the break was over. But
oh man, yeah, I don't know, man. I think it was my signal, man. So
yeah, that's what I assumed.
Yeah.
So getting right back into it, man. I do want to say quick rest in peace to Prince, his 4-year anniversary since his death. So rest in peace to the legend. Secondly, Gianna Bryant was selected as an honorary draftee for the WNBA recently. I don't know exactly how that works out, but shouts out to the WNBA for recognizing a dream of a young child who wanted to play in the WNBA before she passed. While we're dealing with good deeds, Derek Jeter is supposedly foregoing his $5 million salary until further notice, to help out with the COVID-19 pandemic.
Shout out to Derek Jeter, man.
Yeah. In other small news, Lamar Jackson is going to grace the cover of Madden 2021 this year. Any concern about the Madden curse?
I guess I have to go back. I know there was like a multiple year stretch in the past where the one year you hit the cover and then the following year you get some kind of injury and you end up missing some games and all that.
Or you underperform.
Or you're right, or you underperform. Right now, I'll be honest with you, because since this whole pandemic has popped off, I haven't been doing much following of the Ravens. I guess just in terms of leading up to the draft and all that, not so much about what's going on. But I would like to see them, or at least the league in a whole, get to some kind of normalcy. And I know they're going to, have the draft on Thursday and all that. It's just going to be different. Am I concerned about Lamar Jackson being on the cover? Right now, I'm not. That might change, come regular season time, whenever that is. Hopefully it kicks off on time, but only time will tell. So nah, I'm not worried, not one bit.
Obviously, the last person on the cover was Patrick Mahomes, and he would be the I think the first person who beat the Madden curse in a long time.
Right. Now Mahomes did miss some games last year.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of hard to say he underperformed after you.
No, he didn't underperform per se. I think so. See, what you're saying is that either the players that graced the cover, either they underperformed or they suffered some significant injury.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't taking that as both instances happened with the same player.
Sure. And just for the sense of a little more history, if I'm not mistaken, the player before Mahomes was Antonio Brown.
Okay. And what? Antonio Brown is not in the NFL? I guess is that the
right? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, just for a sense of history, I mean, it's either Lamar Jackson's not going to be in NFL no more, or he's going to win the Super Bowl. So
yeah, we'll see.
You'll take those odds, huh?
I like the winning the Super Bowl part a lot more.
Yeah.
I definitely like that. But yeah, I mean, look, we'll see, man. It's Lamar Jackson at some point it's got to be his time, man. Got to win a playoff game at this point. So hopefully this year this will be the year, man. This draft, I guess we could talk about the draft too. And,
I mean, if it was on your topic list, it didn't meet mine. I guess it's Thursday, correct?
It's Thursday, yeah. It's on Thursday.
Are you going to watch it?
I will watch the first few minutes of it, and if I'm at a point to where it's like, okay, I don't like the look of this, then I'm just not going to watch. Mm-hmm. What I'll do is though, like if it gets to that point where I don't want to watch, I'll make sure that I get back in time to see what the Ravens pick. I think we pick number 28 or 29 or something like that. So okay. I'll come back around that time and see what they pick, and then after that, I'm just gonna, I don't know, I might turn on some Law and Order or something like that. It's Thursday night, right?
Yeah, Thursday night. That's crazy. That's what you watch on Thursday night, Law and Order?
Law and Order, Station 19,
old, bruh.
Superstore. I watch them shows, man.
I hear you.
You know what I mean? Ain't no sports, man. Like what you want me to do?
Hey, man. Who am I, brother? So just for if there's any Steelers fans aware, the Steelers do not have a first round pick. We pick 49th overall. I don't know where that numbers out in the second round, but we have a second round pick. So I know where we're targeting. I don't know necessarily where we're going as far as mocks, but I know we better be looking for a wide receiver and or running back in the first round. So
I got a couple comments. Not that you say that. I got a couple things. Number one, I'm hearing a lot about this Leonard Fournette thing with Jacksonville and how they're put on a trade block. Mm-hmm. And I would hate for this to happen because I don't like the Steelers, but it appears to me from a football fan's point of view, Leonard Fournette fits what the Steelers want to do.
Absolutely.
What do you think about that?
Well, I'm sure. I saw a theory. I saw a fan theory of us trading James Conner to the Jaguars for Leonard Fournette with a pick. With I think it was like a fourth or fifth round pick or something like that. Would I take that in a heartbeat? Sure, I would take that in a heartbeat. Because here's the thing. I as much as I like James Conner, he's just he gets injured too often, man. It's no way around it. He gets injured too often.
It appears that way, yeah.
No, it is that way. It's just that way. I don't know if it was. I don't know what it was. I guess everybody would be keying on him last year with the quarterback issue. So I can only speak of maybe two good games he had all year last year, and maybe that's he was just a victim of them saying, look, between Mason Rudolph and Devlin Hodges, you're gonna have to throw on us, maybe. But outside of that, he's injured too often. We went through a lot of last year without James Conner on the field, and I need a running back that's going to be there.
Yeah, no, I feel you on that though. I guess my point is that I just didn't think there was enough sample size with James Conner to just officially declare him that this guy is injury prone. Now, yeah, you're right. He does get injured a lot. It definitely appears that way.
He's been injured a lot in the 2 or 3 years he's been there. That's my point. He's been injured too much for that. Like, injured, come back, then get injured again, then come back again. It's been too much. It's been too much in his short stint.
So what about this alternative? Why not the Steelers keep James Conner, try to get Leonard Fournette, and so you have Leonard Fournette as your number 1 back. You got James Conner as your number 2 back. I think James Conner as a number 2 will be more effective. I think he'll be less likely to get injured because he won't get, the bulk of the carries that Leonard Fournette would get. I think that fits him. I think if it's
Leonard Fournette is not just going to go to the free market. And if he goes to the, how are we going to? What would we have to offer Jacksonville?
Well, you're doing a draft pick, right? What round draft pick you said?
Well, the fan theory, it was just, it wasn't nothing concrete. Just a fan theory was trading James Conner with a 5th rounder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
some of the things I heard was you could trade that 3rd round pick plus another player not named James Conner for Leonard Fournette.
I don't see how, and it's just my opinion, I don't see how you do that. How do you get Leonard Fournette without giving up that second and a player?
Good point. He's coming off one of his best years, right?
Leonard Fournette?
Yeah.
Statistically, is he?
Statistically, yeah.
I feel like he had a quiet. Without he just wasn't on my radar last year.
Well, the Jaguars were bad.
He wasn't really on my radar.
Right. That's part of why they, he was under the radar because they were so terrible last year. But if my memory's serves right, he did have a pretty decent season.
Yeah, you had to pull that up for me because I don't recall him having no crazy year last year.
Okay.
Why you? I don't know if you was really going to look it up or not, but I want to give a shout out to BS3 Radio. I want to give a shout out to Sheldon the Sauce Man Burry. What's going on? Appreciate y'all. Sheldon Sauce Man Burry says he did okay. Yeah, I didn't recall him having some crazy year last year.
Okay.
In fact, just without knowing the numbers, I would say the year before that he had a better year than he had his prior year.
That would have been 2018. Yeah, I don't know about that year. The 2017 year, he definitely had a good year. 2017, I think he fell off in 18, and then I think he got a little better in 19. But maybe. Yeah, I'm looking at his stats now. 1,152 yards, 265 carries, only 3 touchdowns. But I guess in terms of yardage, but he was a number 5 running back. Or the number 6 running back. Yeah.
Last year?
Yeah, last year. And I guess it's not saying much. It's only 1,100 and something yards.
And then more than that, man, he probably is getting a lot of carries because it's not like they had a viable quarterback. I know Minshew had moments, but we don't look at Minshew like he was that dude. Not yet. Right. I know he had a lot of hype going around him like mid-season, but he wasn't that guy.
So the dudes that had more yards than Leonard Fournette, get this. Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, we knew that.
Chris Carson, Zeke, McCaffrey, Nick Chubb, and then of course Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
so keeping up with the Jaguars, are you keeping up with the Ngakoue saga?
I'm not keeping up with it, but I did see some headlines in regards to him wanting out of Jacksonville. Is that right?
That's correct. And he got into a Twitter exchange with none other than Tony Khan. Tony Khan.
Who's Tony Khan?
The owner.
Oh, you mean Shad Khan?
Okay, well then the owner's brother.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he had a brother.
Yeah.
But the brother got a stake in the Jaguars, huh?
Whoever the hell Tony Khan is, he got stake in the Jaguars, and they were going back and forth on a Twitter rant. I believe it was yesterday with Yannick Ngakoue. Did you know Ngakoue was from DC?
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah, I know he went to Maryland. I did know he went to Maryland, but I didn't know he was from DC.
Yep.
So apparently, so he had a tweet. He tweeted Tony Khan talking about stop hiding Mo, and I was like, that's interesting that he would say Mo. So I went and looked up his, went and looked up on Wikipedia, and yeah, he's from DC. But getting into the story, basically, he was like talking about how he wanted to be on the trading block and watch how ownership is going to raise the stakes for what it would take to get me out of here just to keep me here. And then Khan replied basically saying, like, you're not going to get out of Jacksonville threatening me.
Right.
Or talking bad about me. So you probably going to need to stop doing all that. And then they went back and forth for a couple tweets just talking about, why he's still there and why he's not being traded, and the fact that they have all intents on keeping Ngakoue even though he wants out.
So the Jaguars, straight up, this is my opinion, they need to just go ahead and part ways with the guy, because you had already traded Jalen Ramsey, you got rid of the boy we got, Calais Campbell. You basically broke up that entire defense, and AJ Bouye, didn't he get traded too?
I think he's gone.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, just part ways with the guy, man. And I'm looking at Ngakoue's stats right now, right? So his rookie year, 8 sacks. 2017, which was the year they made the playoffs, 12 sacks. After that, 9.5, and then last year, 8 sacks. I feel like if you put this dude in a situation where he's happy and he wants the ball, this dude could be one of the best pass rushers in the league. Mm-hmm. And I think he's in a situation where he's just unhappy about, one, the team, number two,
the moves they making.
The moves, yeah. Yeah, you're damn right. I'd be going after the owner's brother.
I mean, you gotta. I mean, because you really gotta think about this, man. They went from a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender to this in like 2 seasons.
Right. That was the one season, and then they just fell off after that.
I mean, it looks. I mean, it really looks like at this point they should have just kept Bortles.
To see what would have happened.
Just see what would have happened. Yeah.
Yeah,
because Nick Foles clearly is gone. Didn't work out. And I guess Minshew's a rookie. Nope. He's young, but you're not even giving him an opportunity. I tell you what. I don't agree with that. They should have got rid of Bortles. I mean, because that year that he had, and look, I'll give him credit, especially when he went to Pittsburgh, and he didn't do a lot, but on some key third down moments, he did make some plays. Mm-hmm. But that year was just an anomaly year for Blake Bortles, because from the time he got to the league up until that point, for the most part, he was a garbage quarterback. And I remember that one year where I think he had like 35 touchdown passes, but we all knew that was just garbage touchdown passes. Like, the team was always down, and he always had to throw him back in the game. So for the most part, Blake Bortles, that one year, that 2017 season, was an anomaly. So I was okay with them parting ways with him. No. I was okay with it when it happened. I'm just looking at it from where they were then to where they are now. They have essentially broken this entire team apart because they haven't figured out their quarterback.
Yeah, well,
I think he's going to be traded. Let's be clear there. Yeah, he's going to be traded. So now and
he might. Go ahead.
He's going to be traded, and now they get and Fournette is on the trading block. Like, you're literally getting rid of everybody that on your team that was worth a damn.
Yeah, and don't be surprised come Thursday night if one of those two guys or both of them end up on new teams.
Well, I hope Fournette end up on Pittsburgh and we keep James Conner.
Well, see, I must have said something to kind of get you.
No. That's wishful thinking. But what makes sense, that theory makes sense, and I would gladly part ways with James Conner for Leonard Fournette. But if there was a scenario where they just got rid of Fournette undervalued because things wasn't going their way in the market, please, I'd take that in a heartbeat.
And here's the other theory too, Maestro. Leonard Fournette is a running back, and we know what the league thinks about running backs these days.
Absolutely.
They don't want to pay these guys big money, and if I'm not mistaken, this would be his contract year this coming season. Mm-hmm. And they probably feel like, we don't want to pay you, so let's just, trade you to someplace so that they could devalue you just as much.
But I would imagine that the franchise still gonna be over $10 million, even if they got to franchise him. For a running back, it's still gonna be over $10 million.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
Now you're close to that Zeke, Todd Gurley, what he was getting before he got traded. You're close to entering that market value if you're talking $10 million or a little bit north.
Well, I'm just assuming, but I'm assuming that the franchise tag is going to be $10 million and up. I mean, especially with what's the name breaking the market again?
McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, if you had to take a guess, what would you guess the franchise tag for a running back is right now this year?
Right now, probably 11 million.
Yeah, maybe 11, 12 million. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
I'm intrigued by Jalen Hurts. I'm really intrigued, and I really feel like he gets no respect. I mean, they're talking about all the guys, that are ahead of him, and rightfully so. Mm-hmm. Well, Joe Burrow's expected to go number one. They're talking about Justin Herbert. They're talking about this Jordan Love cat too. They talking about him, and I feel like Jalen Hurts is not getting enough love, not getting the respect. Who could you possibly see going up to grab Jalen Hurts if it came down to it, maybe like the second round or something like that?
Well, I'll be honest with you. There's a lot of, and it might be my biasly curated timelines, but all I see is Jalen Hurts is going to Pittsburgh. That's all I'm seeing. That's all I see. Every time I scroll, Jalen Hurts is going to Pittsburgh. So, but that might that might be my timeline because I don't, it's biased. Right.
I'll be honest with you. That would be the typical Pittsburgh move. Yeah. Don't you think?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I would love for that to happen if Jalen Hurts is going to be who is going to develop into a quarterback, an NFL quarterback. I mean, he was good. He was good in Alabama, but he did also be outplayed by Tua.
Yes, that did happen. That definitely did happen. But he followed that up with going to Oklahoma and balling out the way he did.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So I got to think the guy is, I have to think that he's got a chip on his shoulder and he's going to work hard no matter where he gets picked. And he might be the most underappreciated player coming out of this draft.
Well, if he goes to Pittsburgh, good for us.
So,
because I'm telling you, man, right now, I'm telling you right now, if Ben comes back and is any semblance of what he's been before he got injured, if Juju can become
which is highly possible.
Well, yeah, which is highly possible. If Juju can be a number one, and if we can just get a running back to be consistent with that defense, it's going to be trouble. And that's all I'm gonna say. It's going to be trouble
for Roethlisberger,
for the league.
Oh, you mean if he gets benched?
No. Jalen Hurts is going to be
he's going to be the starter. I mean, if the Steelers draft him in the second or third round, he's going to be the starter. I have no
over Ben Roethlisberger?
Huh?
Hold on. You saying he's going to start over Ben Roethlisberger if he gets drafted in the second round?
No. I'm saying he's going to be the heir. I meant to say the heir apparent.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you.
Roethlisberger.
Yeah. But I'm not even that. I'm not even right there right now. I'm talking about I'm talking about Ben Roethlisberger comes back and plays anywhere close to the type of ball he was playing before he got injured, and we can get a.
Oh, okay. I think when you said that, I was thinking about the start of the season last year. I wasn't thinking about.
I'm talking about
2018.
Yeah. I'm talking about when he was balling. So if he can get if he can get back to any semblance of that, and then keep developing these cats for these next 2 years or 3 years, he plan on playing football, and then Jalen Hurts come in with it, right behind it, it's gonna be problems. It's gonna be problems.
Okay, so let me rephrase my statement. It's highly possible that he could come back and play like he played against the Patriots opening day last season and against the Seahawks before he got hurt.
Nah,
that's what you
were saying. So you're talking about him being garbage. I'm talking about him being good.
Yes.
I'm talking about him being good and then retiring and then leaving it to Jalen Hurts with a team that has been already established.
Right.
We got the offense clicking, got the defense clicking, and now we talking about a dynasty. See, I'm on a glass half full side, Trey.
Oh, of course you are. We all are. We got to be with our teams, of course. You got to be happy that Brady's not in the conference anymore.
All I'm saying is, how can we beat the Ravens and the Chiefs to get to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying right now.
Yep,
and if I'm being honest with you, I'm more worried about the Chiefs than I am the Ravens.
Well, I think everybody should be worried about the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think they're the Ravens right now. We're the second best team in the conference.
That's a fact. That's why I mentioned you, because you're the second best. But I'm more worried about the Chiefs than I am the Ravens. I think, and I'll stand by it, and I'll say it into the crowd. We played Lamar Jackson the best all last season.
Okay. I'm not going to put an argument, because I thought the Bills and the Niners and when I was saying, and I know where you're going with this, because I think last season I said something about. No, I know you're talking about week 4. I know you're talking about that. What, three turnovers, and I mean he played a sloppy game in that game. There's no question about that. Because when I was referring to how good the Bills and the Niners played, I was more so referring to that winning streak that we was on. That they played the best defense on him throughout the winning streak, and now that you brought up Pittsburgh. That win against y'all actually started our winning streak.
Started the winning streak, right?
Yeah. So I guess you got me there. Mm-hmm. But they turned them over a few times, and it was an ugly ball game.
For certain. If not for Juju buckling under the pressure of being a number one receiver, man, I think we would have got that win. But I'll keep my conspiracy theories for another day. You got anything else, bro?
Yeah, I got nothing else, man. I'll be honest with you. I meant to text you the other day, in regards to these hip hop battles, on IG Live. I wanted to get your take on Premier and RZA from the previous week.
Yeah.
And then I know, we got to see Babyface and Teddy go at it a couple of times.
You know what?
Not so great.
Yeah, well, the first time I don't count. Let's be clear about that.
Of course.
But the second time, man, I thought it was still going to be 9 o'clock, and it was 8 o'clock, so I ended up missing half of that. So I got to catch it on YouTube. I just hadn't got a chance to look for it on YouTube yet.
Okay.
But I had my joint. I had my IG on my TV, and I was eating crabs yesterday, and I was having a good old time yesterday. And but like I said, I missed the first half of it.
Right.
So I will reserve judgment for who I feel like won until I watch the whole thing. In regards to the RZA and Primo battle, yeah, RZA cleaned them.
RZA cleaned them, huh?
Yeah, I think he cleaned them. I mean, it Primo was taking too long to play hard hitters.
He was holding back.
Yeah.
He was holding back some stuff, it's so funny because I'm in the chat, right? And I'm like, yo, you gotta, and I get that this is probably not one of Premier's best cuts, but recognized by Locks, I wanted him to play that so bad, and I'm like, yo, this dude's holding back some stuff, and I know he's had a lot better songs than recognized, but he was very hesitant to play some stuff, and then I tell you what, and you might get on me for this, but I did not know that DJ Premier produced Devil's Pie by D'Angelo. I did not know that until that night.
Battle. Yeah. And
Yep.
man, because the thing about Wu-Tang beats is all them joints is aggressive. Even when they try and be soft, them joints is aggressive, you know. So it's like
the piano,
like Ice Cream. You gotta understand that Ice Cream was their girl song, dog, and that's like one of the hardest beats ever. Like, so it's you can't really come with no whole bunch of
Gravel Pit. Gravel Pit is like a soft song, and even that joint go hard a little bit.
Yeah, so it's like you can't really, you gotta play bangers, dog, and you can't do a whole bunch of B-sides and a whole bunch of like critically acclaimed joints. You gotta go with the bangers, you know, and Primo ain't do that through the whole battle.
Right, and I did see a little bit of criticism about because he did play some B-side joints. And I was okay with it because, look, if this is a battle, versus us just watching this video just because we want to hear music, no, I want to hear, your joints versus his joints. And if the dude wants to play track 5 off of a Jeru the Damager album, then, so be it. If that joint bang, then play it. I didn't have a problem with him playing.
The problem was that a couple. I ain't gonna say a lot of them, but a few of the B-side joints that he played. And it's been 2 weeks now, so I ain't gonna pretend like I remember it by But he would be playing B-sides in situations where RZA played played a stomper, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I had the rounds written down somewhere, but I'm not about to go look for it in the middle of the podcast. But I had the rounds written down because pretty much every battle I watched, I write down round by round and kind of judge it how I felt about it and write little notes about how I felt about it. And it just be moments where it's like, man, like that's what you played right there.
Hey, Maestro, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, you were coming in and out for a minute.
Okay.
You were coming in and out, but
I was just saying it was parts where RZA was playing that shit, and then Primo would come back with some B-side that only true Primo fans would know about and be like, oh, this not.
Right. And I'll be honest with you, like I got the list up on my phone right now. I just remembered that I took a snapshot of it a couple of weeks ago. But Come Clean by Jeru the Damager, I mean, back then that was a joint. Yeah. That to me that wasn't a B-side joint.
No. That's like that's J. Rule's biggest record.
Right.
Yeah,
so
I didn't
know what niggas was talking about when they were saying track 5 off of a Jeru the Damager album.
Read down Primo's song list.
So Jay-Z, A Million and One Questions, MOP's Breaking the Rules.
Mm-hmm.
You got Most Def's Mathematics, Big L the Enemy.
But hold on, let me stop you. What did Big L the Enemy go against?
It went against Raekwon's Wu Gambinos.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, what?
Yeah. It's crazy. And then Devil's Pie went against Jizz's Cold World.
But I would give Devil's Pie that. I would give that to Primo, though.
You would? Okay. Yeah. Because I thought Jizz's Cold World was, and I don't remember who went first. Like, that's the thing. I don't remember who went first.
RZA went first, I want to say.
RZA went first?
I want to say.
Okay. I mean, just kind of going down. We talked about Ice Cream. Ice Cream went up against Biggie's Unbelievable.
Yeah. And Biggie's Unbelievable lost, but Biggie's Unbelievable shouldn't lose to nothing. You don't play that. You don't play Biggie's Unbelievable behind Ice Cream, dog.
That should have been winning like almost 75% of RZA's list. To be honest with you,
he could have played that against something else. You shouldn't have played that against Ice Cream, dog. Because I get at the RZA.
Right.
And I love Unbelievable, but I get at the RZA.
Yeah. Okay. And then well, coming back to J. Rue's Come Clean, that went up against ODB's Brooklyn Zoo.
Yeah, J. Rue won that.
Kick in the Door went against Shimmy Shimmy Y'all.
I love Kicking the Door, man, but
Kicking the Door won that for me.
Okay.
For me,
I mean, it's obviously your opinion.
Yeah. Okay, so Biggie's Long Kiss Goodnight, which was by RZA.
Yeah.
Went up against Gangstars Above the Clouds.
Yeah, come on now. Biggie beats that.
Yeah. Nas's New York State of Mind went up against Ghostface Assassination Day.
You got to give it the New York State of Mind, but Assassination Day is a hard record.
Yeah, and you could argue that RZA kind of messed up maybe playing that, up against State of Mind, but then again, RZA went first, so he was just trying to go hard off rip. And then,
that was his hell. You got to understand the New York State of Mind, because that was late. If I'm not mistaken, that was late in the battle.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, see, that's Primo.
That was round 17.
That's Primo throwing Hail Marys at that point. He know he losing.
Yeah, but then you back that up with Gangstar's Dwick.
Yeah,
like I don't know if you back that up, after New York State of Mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So running out of bullets at that point.
Yeah.
RZA came out with a couple Raekwon joints. He came out with the Criminology joint round 18, and Incarcerated Scarfaces at 19.
Come on, bro.
And then to close it out, MJB and Method with the You're All I Need joint. I think RZA at that point was just like, I already won this thing. I'm gonna just go ahead and just play some Mary J.
But you gotta understand how gangster that beat was. That's not the Tammy Terrell joint sample. That's the RZA remix joint.
Right. No, I know. But yeah,
the RZA original.
Yeah. DJ Premier definitely he left some joints out, man.
Yeah, and that's why he lost. I think he would have lost. I had RZA the whole time. I ain't gonna lie.
Right,
the whole time, but
yeah, but like Group Home, Living Proof. I mean, I like that beat, but I like their other beat, to Superstar, by Group Home.
Group Home.
I thought he would have played.
As much as I understand that Group Home is a regarded hip hop group, and that shouldn't have been in this battle.
What, Living Proof?
Group Home, period. Primo got too many other joints to be playing Group Home in that battle.
I agree with that, and I guess because I'm a Primo fan, and that beat to Superstar goes hard. I guess I was expecting him to play that, but I get your point. He does have more joints, like the Common joint. I didn't even see the joint on here. Yeah. So. What was the other joint with Gangstar and Jadakiss? The Right Where You Stand joint.
What you mean? What was it?
What was the name of the joint? Right Where You Stand. Yeah. I think I said it. He didn't play that.
But you talking about them joints. Those are personal favorites. But you ain't even talking about like the popular joints that bang. Yeah. Like there should be more Gangstar joints on his list than there were. Yeah, it should be more Biggie and Jay joints that he didn't play there.
Right. So Ghetto.
Yeah, exactly. So Ghetto. They didn't play So Ghetto till after it was over.
Till after, yep. I do remember that. Remember that for certain. I mean, even a couple more Biggie joints I thought he should have played.
Yeah, he
did Who Shot You, right?
I don't think he did Who Shot You.
He didn't do that? Okay.
I don't think he did Who Shot You.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to the next battle, Alchemist versus Havoc.
Oh, that's written in stone?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up.
Looking forward to that joint.
You can tell I ain't been in my phone all day.
You've been focusing on your new laptop, I see.
Not even that. I ain't even started messing with the laptop till 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's what's up.
Cool.
Yo, I got one more thing, man. And then this is just in regards to everything going on with the coronavirus and everything like. Nothing much to do with our state per se, because I think everything that's been happening here is kind of the way based on the criteria and the data that okay, we're not doing things to put people more at risk, and things like that. The state of Georgia, yo, they got to get some smoke right now. B, I don't know if you heard yesterday. The governor came out and was like, "We gonna open bowling alleys, hair salons, restaurants, barbershops, and movie theaters. We gonna open all that stuff up this Friday." And niggas is like, "For real? Like Friday?" And y'all got it like y'all got it like real bad right now down there. Mm-hmm. And y'all thinking about opening up all these activities and stuff. I'm just gonna say it, man. And people can say what they want. I don't give a damn. But nigga, people can't tell me that this is not racially targeted. They know, and particularly Atlanta, Georgia, they know that black people own these businesses, right? Mm-hmm. They own these businesses, so they want these businesses to open up. Because they know, and look, I want to be doing a bunch of activities as much as the next man. But if I got to risk my health to do that, I'd rather wait this thing out until, cats feel like it's safe to come out and do these things. To me, this is racially targeted, man. They know that we run these types of businesses. They know that the majority of the consumers to these types of businesses are African American, and it's just another way to just wipe us out, man. I'm just gonna be, serious and upfront about that. They just wipe us out. They know the election is coming up, and remember, this is the same state that was hiding votes from the previous, governor election. So it wouldn't shock me one bit that this is like the motive.
Hey, I feel you, bro. All right, man. So we're going to go ahead and sign out, man. And I want to say thank you to everybody who joined the chat room. We appreciate y'all, man. And we appreciate everybody that's going to catch it when we hit DSPs tomorrow. Follow us on Instagram at Barbershop Sports Talk. Follow Trey Frazier at Trey Frazier and me at Maestro Styles on Twitter. Follow Trey at Barbershop SPOR2. You can follow me at Maestro Styles. Make sure y'all liking on the Facebook page if you're still doing Facebook, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are working to get content, but obviously this Corona got everybody hammed up. So just stay tuned. For Trey Frazier, this is Maestro Styles. We see y'all next week.
Peace.